one is so unique, and we can do, we can show our two diamond. So that's kind of why I chose that. Yeah. So that's the meaning behind that.
Yeah.
Nice, Mark.
Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Mark. That was enlightening. I'm just kind of rolling into home base here. We're live, by the way. Welcome everybody into our daily success call for Friday, the 24th. You know what? It's Fun Friday, and I didn't even wear a Hawaiian shirt today. So, so hopefully somebody's got a joke, or maybe you got a dog or a cat or a frog or something in your midst here that we could go ahead and get started with. Thank you, Mark, by the way, for the whole design explanation. Who's got something to say today on this Fun Friday? Patricia, do you have a joke for us?
I don't. I was sitting here trying to think of something.
Okay. Well, there's Mark with his antlers. Look at all these characters we got here. Hey, you guys.
I have a funny joke.
Yo, please, let's have a funny joke, please. Come on out.
Okay. This comes directly from Google. One day I said, hey, Google, I have Google at home. And I said, hey, Google, tell me a funny joke. She said, okay. Why does a duck have tail feathers? To cover its ass quack. Oh, that comes directly from Google.
All right.
Crazy.
There you go.
Okay. There's corny ones. I got one.
All right. Go ahead.
What's a pirate's least favorite state?
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
There you go. What is a pirate's favorite fast food restaurant? Arby's. I heard another duck joke today. It was the duck walked into a convenience store, got some lipstick, and said, "Put it on my bill."
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, good.
Okay, I just looked one up.
Yeah, come on,
Can I share one?
Allison.
Why do we tell actors to break a leg?
Why?
Because all the plays have a cast.
Oh gosh, that's a good
Very
one.
good. Thank you, Allison. All right. Anybody else?
I
Who's got
can't
a
Google, tell me a joke.
Lisa's asking Google for a joke now. All right, Lisa.
A blast from the past.
I only heard
Did you hear
the
that? Did you hear what was in Lisa's microphone?
No, it was my microphone.
Google said a
always a
blast
goodie.
from the past, and then it made a fart sound.
No.
So, there you go. All right. Well, welcome everyone.
They're usually cool.
Welcome.
They're quite
Yeah,
good.
they're usually good. All right. Anybody else before we get into our topic for today? Yes, Denise.
I just wanted to say that I found 3 more orders that I didn't know that I got.
Wow.
Yay.
I know. On Amazon. They were on Amazon and I didn't even know they were there.
The hits just keep on coming. We're just getting started,
I was so
Denise.
happy.
Yay.
Yeah.
I had my
Awesome.
first 2 sales ever yesterday. I didn't even know they were there. I didn't even know what the little orange button was. And I clicked on it, and said I had 2 sales. I'm like, oh my God, I did the jiggy dance and everything.
Wow. That's right. And you even emailed me on that. Well done,
I know,
my
I was
friend.
so excited. I'm like, I've been working
Yeah.
so hard, I'm just like, yes.
Good stuff. Hey, you know what? Since we're shifting gears into sharing wins, I'd love to have some wins. If you guys want to come out, share some wins. We already heard 2. Who else?
Me. Can I say it?
Hey, Rose.
Now, it's just, I wanted to say before we start, but it's just about yesterday that everybody was helping me with Amazon, that my Amazon account was not working and all. It was so easy today. I've managed to talk to someone there. Thanks, Missy, for the phone. And then I asked someone to call me back. They called me back super quick, like in 5 minutes to the UK. I spent 20 minutes on the phone and everything was sorted. After half an hour, my account was released and I have my Gear Bubble integration.
Yay!
It was super quick.
Congratulations. Very
Yeah, it
good.
was very quick. For the new people, it's worth it to call them because it was literally like less than 1 hour, everything was sorted.
I got to do the same. I have to do that too.
And you
Yeah.
called,
Probably
who was it
Amazon.
that you called, Rose? Just
Amazon.
You called
Called
Amazon.
Amazon. Yeah. Because my
Missy
Gear Bubble
gave us
integration.
Missy gave us phone numbers for Amazon and Etsy where to get a hold of them quickly yesterday.
Yeah, but you can also go into Amazon, the seller account, if it's approved for you, and ask them, log a case there, and then you can ask them to call you back. You can do both ways. You can call them, or you can ask them to call you back. They literally called me back in 5 minutes.
Wow.
And it was all sorted, and my Gearbubble integration is on. And I couldn't believe, because I heard so many terrible stories about Amazon. So I was happy, and I want to say thank you to everyone that helped me yesterday. So.
Fantastic. Well done. And thank you, Missy, for helping with that as well. Michael, share a win with us, please.
Well, you know how much fun I've been having with Amazon. And so we worked we got a workaround about a week ago. And so today I said to Adam, I said, listen, like, what would you do? Like, what's the best course of action? He says, you know what? It's not perfect, but it still works. And going into Christmas, we could redo everything and start from scratch, but you've got all this stuff in there now. Why don't we just go forward with that? So I'm like, you know what? I'm happy with that decision, because it was going to be a lot of reworking to do. So I'm like, okay, so now I can go forward. And I showed him some of the other stuff I was doing. He says, you know what, do that. That's going to get you where you want to go as well. So again, through these conversations, I was finding, again, what's the best course of action. And today was the not the big win, but the let's move forward win. So I can actually hit the metrics that I need to do by Christmas time or November or whatever else. And by that decision, he's like, well, great. Now I know your decision, so I can launch stuff on FBA for you. Okay, the mugs that we got. So he can go forward with his thing now. So I'm like, okay, good. Now that's behind us. Let's move forward and onward and upward.
Yay!
Beautiful.
Yay.
Awesome, Mike. Well done, sir. Glad you are making progress with all of that. Any other wins anybody wants to share? Was that, Michael?
Oh, I just said under the sea.
Right. Are you finding Nemo or something? What are you doing?
I did, and he was great. Sushi was awesome.
Nice. All right. Very good. Scott, you've got the floor. Hey, Scott, share a win.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good.
Hope everybody's doing great. Yeah, one of my things, I actually busted out an exercise machine, and I put it in a plan of doing exercise in the morning now to get into the habit of it. So changing habits has been a huge success this week for me.
Wow. That is beautiful. And in fact, I just had this conversation with my mastermind group that I run, talking about developing habits, and the conversation went to exercise as one thing you could, very easily decide to do or not, right? And you're deciding to do that. So well done, sir. Good stuff. Any other wins people want to share? I see Raza and Gaza. Who else?
I'm a bit blurry, John.
Hey.
I'm flying solo today, and I'm a bit blurry because I'm on a different machine. But for the second time, we managed to get our Etsy store open yesterday. I woke up, I said to myself the night before, this is from the Miracle Morning, when I wake up in the morning, my Etsy store is going to be open. And it was.
Just like that. Okay. So well done, Raza and Gaza. And we have Allison here as well. Hey, Allison, what's your win for today?
Okay, so my daughter, who's doing all the technical end of things, Leanne, she integrated Etsy, and we're sort of like starting to upload some better niche ideas than before. And so this is good. We're just really slow in getting like the clear ideas. Like I'm just thinking, I want to create these ideas rather than just copy and paste and tweak. But Adam said like just copy and paste and tweak and don't think, because just sell what sells. But part of me thinks I have some ideas that might be reasonably nice. So that's why we're kind of just slow on the creative part, even though I thought we'd be really fast, because we're trying to figure out what sells, but also do what we think is reasonable.
Okay. Well, the win is that you got some advice from somebody who sells a lot, right? And so you can incorporate that. You can also get your creative stuff going on however long that takes. So So I think you need fulfillment in both areas. In fact, we're going to talk about that a little bit here today. So great topic. Thank you. But we're fulfilled or we're paid in multiple ways, right? So one is the obviously financial pay. The other is psychic pay, right? Emotional and physiological and all that. So it sounds like you're making progress in that way, my friend, you and your daughter.
Yeah. And I was going to ask, like, if I had little ebooks or something, would I be able to add that to our little Etsy store or not a good idea?
Well, ebooks are a digitally delivered product. So that's typically something you would do via your own, like I've got ebooks that people can download via my funnel, right? So they come, they opt in, they get the free stuff, and then they're on the list, and then they get other offers and what have you. So that's usually a device for list building. Okay. Unless you've got, unless you're looking to do, KDP. Now we're talking about a commercial product, right?
I don't know what KDP is.
Kindle Direct Publishing.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, people, and I don't know, maybe somebody's got another opinion about that, but when I think of books, I think of Kindle or Apple Books, right? Barnes and Noble.
If anyone has any idea of how to make my little books, Apple Books or whatever, I'd be really curious to know, because I don't know what to do with some of my writing that I've done.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Well, if you go to Kindle Direct Publishing, what used to be known as Create Space on Amazon, that's their method. And then with Apple, there's that whole, what's it called? EPUB or something. You think I would know because I'm a published author. Anyway, there's technology for that. It's not a big deal. Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Very good. I'll tell you what is the big deal is getting, things promoted. It's one thing to write a book. It's another thing to sell the book. Judith, do you have a dog in your midst, Judith?
I have 2 dogs, and I've been muting to try to keep them from.
Oh, I heard one.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I've got them with me now. I do have my hand up. I did want to tell, I'm sorry, what was the gal's name just now? Allison?
Allison, yeah, or Allie.
You know what? I love Adam, and he's the best. And learning from him, I decided to go with that, but also go with what has always been my passion. And I am really into viticulture. I'm into the wine culture. I'm into art. I'm into the cellar, the cellar being, what they, cure the wine and down in the cellars. I decided to go with my passion, which is everything viticulture, wine, vine and cellar is my thing. So if you find a passion that you have, that you love within all the niches that you've had the opportunity to look at, there's no substitute for your passion. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, John, for giving me the chance.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Good stuff. And Lisa, hold on. We're going to go to Lisa, and then I think Joe is about to talk. Hey, Lisa.
Okay, my comments are both to Alison. The first one is Amazon has a decent platform for digital books, for books on a digital profile. So if you look at their platform, it's quite easy and inexpensive. And the other comment was in regard to your niches, if you use the information that we've got to grab your niche, you can use your creativity to write whatever slogan it is. You don't have to take someone else's slogan, but you have to find the right niche, what people are looking for.
True. Okay, that's great. Well, I've been trying to do both. I've been really trying to marry
keep your creativity as long as you focus on making sure you find your niche the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
it's a learning curve. We're getting there.
That was just my comment on it.
Thank you,
Thank
Lisa.
you for that.
Good stuff. So we can go deep into a niche that, and if it's something that you've got attention on or that you're passionate about, you can find little crevices in there that you can get some nice traction rather than just, being vanilla. Of course, if you're vanilla, you're ignored, right? So great advice. Thank you, Lisa. Who else has a win to share? I think Joe, perhaps. Joe, come on out, my friend. You were muted there. There you go.
I wanted to do the one last joke. I haven't done a joke.
Oh, please.
Yet. And I actually put these 2 90-year-old women, is Bertha and Betty, had been friends all their lives when it's clear that Bertha was dying. Betty visited her every day. One day, Betty said, Bertha, we both love playing softball, all our lives, and we're playing all through high school. Please do one more favor for me. When you get to heaven, somehow you must let me know if there's women playing softball up there. Bertha looked up at Betty from her deathbed and said, Betty, you've been my best friend for many, many years. And it's at all possible. I will do your favor. Shortly after Bertha passed away, a few nights later, Betty was awakened from a sound sleep by a blinding flash of light. And the voice called out to her, Betty, Betty, who is it? Asked Betty, sitting up suddenly. Who is it, Betty? It's me, Bertha. You're not Bertha. Bertha died. I'm telling you, it's Bertha, insisting then with her voice. Bertha, where are you? I'm in heaven. I have some really good news and a little bit of bad news. Tell me the good news first, said Betty. The good news is, Bertha said, is there is a women's softball team in heaven. Oh, better than that, all of our old buddies who died before us are up here too. Even better than that, we're all young again. Better still, it's always springtime and it's never rained or snow. And best of all, we can play softball all we want and we never get tired. That's fantastic, said Betty. It's beyond my wildest dreams. So what's the bad news? Bertha replies, you're pitching Tuesday.
Oh,
You're pitching Tuesday. Yeah, you have to be clean. I was gonna dress up with some wild stuff, but we got too much work to do.
Thank you, Joe. Good stuff. Well, so we got stuff to look forward to, right? Thank you. Thank you all for sharing your wins and your jokes here today for a little bit of fun Friday. I didn't get to see any dogs, even though Judith's dog barked. I would love to see Judith's dog.
We'll try next time to show you our dog.
Oh, there it is. I see Judith's dog. That's a different one than the one that's usually lounging around over there. Can anybody see Judith? She's muted, so she's not on screen.
No, I'm here. This is my oldest dog, Milo. He's 14. He's a Tibetan Spaniel. And he's a sweetheart. He's just a little angel. And then his little daughter, Vienna's over there. She's 12. And
Wow.
They're my godsends. I love them so much.
Awesome. Good to see you.
I have Patches here.
Hey.
There's Patches. She's my little Shih Tzu. She's my service dog for my anxiety.
Wow.
And she's 12.
Good to see you, Patches. Good to see you, Lorraine. Haven't seen you in a little while. Good to see you. I know you were on here the last couple of days, but I just hadn't said hi to you. So hi, Lorraine.
That's okay.
All right.
Hi.
Good stuff. So we've got a few minutes to go here. Let me go ahead and give you what just came up for me as a result of what just happened here. We have a couple topics on the table. One is habits, and as it relates to doing resourceful things, hopefully resourceful things like exercise, things like building your business. The other thing is recognizing the wins and how you're actually winning. So we just got to hear from a few people who are making progress, right? Some have made sales and they didn't even know they made sales. So that's a good thing to know. So it comes down to, for me, what are we expecting? If I am expecting to win, then I show up and I do the work. This may sound too simple, but here's the thing. Let's say, like Scott, he was talking about developing a new habit of exercise. If he didn't expect it to work, he probably wouldn't show up and get off your ass and actually do it, because it's not easy to develop new habits, right? So there's new decisions that have to be made, and then you make those decisions again and again and again consistently, and then a habit is formed over time. But the impulse of thought that, you know what, I think I'm going to go and exercise, as an example, that comes from what? The expectant attitude of this will bear fruit, right? This is something good or right. Now, here's the issue for a lot of people is if they don't acknowledge themselves, if they don't celebrate the win, like we just heard some wins being celebrated here, then it's easy to overlook the accomplishment, the production that occurred, because look at all that other production that hasn't occurred yet, Okay. Scott is not yet Mr. Olympia. I don't know that that's his target. Okay. But there's a gap between Scott and Mr. Olympia. Okay. I'm seeing pictures of Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime right now. Okay. Denise's, 6 sales, or Judith's 2 sales, right? That's a win. And we acknowledge that win, but there's a gap between that and the 200,000 sales, which haven't occurred yet. So one of the reasons that I like to park on, the winning part of this is because part of our pay for being alive and in business and not pitching softball in heaven quite yet, part of our pay for all that is not just money, right? So yes, money, that's good and important and right that you make money, okay? But also it's that feeling of accomplishment. Henry Ford said something. He said there is joy in work, that there is no happiness unless one recognizes they've accomplished something. So whose responsibility is it to make sure that we're getting paid? It's ours, right? Which I can very easily I can overlook. I can look at all the things that aren't accomplished yet. I can look at the gap between where I'm at and where I want to go. And yes, that could be a good motivator as well. But can I not smell the roses for a minute? And so I think when we do like we just did today, spontaneously, we shared a few wins, right? Which we could do whenever you want. In fact, hopefully you do that for yourself every day. Hopefully you're recognizing your wins and you're acknowledging them, because what we put our attention on and that which we acknowledge and validate expands. We get more of that. So it's one thing to have an expectation for the future. It's another thing to see that it's actually occurring. This is the gap for a lot of people who fail to develop habits. We just have our attention fixated on all that we haven't done yet. Look at that big mountain of stuff that we need to do, but we're all the way down here. Oh, you know what? What's the use? Have you seen that in your life, right? Where you're perhaps cowing down under the, you're confronting this mountain of stuff and, oh, it's insurmountable. Well, you're not getting paid, right? And also that doesn't leave you getting paid financially either, right? I mean, we're going to have to get up that mountain a little bit, get some momentum going on for you to start, seeing the fruits of all this work, right? Nobody just shows up here and clicks the easy button and suddenly, the gods are pouring money down upon you. I suppose that could happen. I haven't seen it happen yet. Maybe you could be the first. Let me know when it happens. But I think for us mere mortals, we probably have to put in some effort. I will tell you that my effort is much more readily given. My effort happens much more readily and at a better rate and with better quality when I feel good about it, the joy in work. So, well, we heard from, was it Allison or Allie about, creativity versus just being constructive. So those are two different approaches. I'm constructive. I can manipulate and I can personalize in some way. I can plagiarize, right? Here's what we already know works. So that's a constructive action, right? But can I also not be creative and do things which may or may not pay me, financially, what, may not be expedient, but my goodness, I got paid nonetheless because I feel like I've really done something. And who knows, maybe you get some traction with that. Obviously, one of the reasons that this method that everyone here is engaged in, this whole print on demand method, the reason it's so workable is because you could take lots of swings, right? A lot of at bats, and it's not going to cost you $10 million to get at bat every time. That's really cool. That makes it much more accessible for people who are especially new, right, to this whole space. Because look, there's a lot of people attempting to make a living online who aren't. Okay. And they're investing heavily in product sourcing and white label and, arbitrage and everything else. Here you've got a much more workable approach for people who are perhaps not in a position to do that, not at the outset anyway. Now you can always add methods too, but we add methods on top of methods that are already workable and proven and that you've gotten some traction with. There's an old saying that the fox that chases 2 rabbits catches neither. Okay, so right now, let's say we're just engaged in one method and that method is proven to work. It's got proof of concept. Okay, here's this print on demand method. and you catch that rabbit, you cook it, you eat it, yum, 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 right? Now you add other methods. That sounds like a much more workable approach than trying to kill 10 million birds with one stone. But it's not going to work unless we recognize that it's working. And that's why we park for a minute and we smell the roses, right? We have to recognize that, yes, you are getting paid right now. And yes, money comes as well. There's multiple forms of recompense. I'm here to tell you that if you don't love your work, find something you can love about your work, because this shouldn't be drudgery. Yeah, there's stuff to learn. There's mountains to climb and there's problems to solve. I get it. But what part of this can you fall in love with? One of the things that I love, I'll just tell you right now, which may be exceedingly obvious, is that we get to get together here, right? And not do this alone. I mean, the community aspect of this, talk about the psychic pay, right? The emotional, the physiological or psychological pay for all this. Do you know that most people on the internet attempting to make money online are going it alone? How's that sound? You want to do that? You can do that. In fact, most people do. That's what most people do. Most people aren't in this meeting. We got thousands of members here in the low-hanging system, right? Some show up in a Facebook group and do whatever they do there. And some people never show up at all. And some of you are like regulars, like I can't get rid of you. Like every time I look, there you are, right? Good. Keep showing up, right? This whole approach that I'm talking about here, where we've got pay or recompense from multiple different directions, is something that I have found, that I discovered in my own life as a result of getting involved in just like the whole personal development space, not necessarily attached to this or that business method, but just seeking answers to life, right? And showing up at lectures and seminars and reading books, of course. But you show up at a seminar, and what's going to happen, right? You're going to be there. There's some sort of content, a lecture or something, workshops, other people, right? If the seminar was just me, well, then I could just sit there and I guess read a book or something. But no, it's not just me. And so what happens when we get together and we put ourselves in an environment consistently? Because we're talking about building habits now, right? What happens when we consistently put ourselves in an environment that allows us to be, do, and have more, that fosters our growth, a growth type environment? Well, let's look at any seed, right? So here is a seed of tomatoes. It's tomato day, everybody. And I don't know anything about gardening, okay? But if I did, and if I planted these seeds of tomatoes and I put them in, let's say, a glacier in Antarctica or something, what kind of crop do you think I could expect? Probably nothing, right? Exactly, right? But if I was in the land of tomatoes where I grew up in New Jersey, my goodness, you could just throw the seed in the air and it's going to sprout up tomatoes. Like tomatoes grow like weeds over there for some reason. Must be something in the soil. But we're going to have a nice harvest, right? Because the environment is conducive to its success. When Scott shows up in the gym or running down the street or whatever environment he's putting himself in to do the exercise, right? That is an environment conducive to the growing of that seed of fitness and health and all this. When we show up at a seminar or on these talks, we are putting ourselves in an environment where the success that we seek is a reality. But it's only real for you to the degree that you can acknowledge it, the little wins, and then build on those, right? We're here to get traction and then, eat that rabbit, and then we could add more rabbits, okay? But we're going to chase that rabbit down, and we're going to do it in an environment where rabbits get caught, metaphorically speaking, all right? Not just in theory, but in reality. My point for all this is to make this real for you. Just like your habits are real for you, before you can even think about it, before you even talk yourself out of it. Let's say you've got a habit of going, exercising every day. Fine. Before you can talk yourself out of it, it's already done. Too late to fail. I already did it. You can talk yourself out of it after you already did it. Oh, too late. You already did it, right? Fine. That is beautiful. That's a real environment of success. Okay. And it's acknowledged and it's known, and there's nothing vague about that. Can you make this just as real for you? I know that the business is a new approach for you. These methods are a new method for you. but who's showing up to do this? And this is a question I've brought up a bunch of times. More important than what we do is who's doing it. Who's doing it? Okay. Is it the same person who tried a little bit, never really, you know what, I failed at all these other things. Let me just try my hand at this. I hope not. I hope it's not that person. Ralph Emerson said, of what use to make heroic vows of amendment if the same old lawbreaker is to keep them? No, here's the new improved. In fact, let's just, never mind improved. Here's the transformed, hit the reset button, decide who you are today and be that. And yesterday bears no precedent. I know this may sound like unworkable because, well, after all, John, we do have a memory. Okay, well, I'm telling you to develop a forgettery to go along with your memory. Forget about it. Forgive yourself, whatever you did or didn't do yesterday, right? Right now, meaning in this exact moment, who's showing up to do this work? And can you acknowledge, first and foremost, that you showed up? That's a win. That's a win. Oh, we can build on that. All right, so now you see your success is real. Okay, and did you set up the Etsy account? Ah, that's a win. We haven't even earned 1 cent yet, but we're acknowledging wins. And that does what? That gets us higher up the mountain. And now we're looking at the wins that are right there at our feet. And we're not looking at the whole mountain. This is what takes most people out. They don't want to confront like how much needs to be done. And so they back down. They back down. I would say, let's take this in bite-sized chunks. Okay. Every little win is valid. You know, I do some business with a company that has enumerated, they've actually codified and enumerated, here are the most critical activities that you've got to do in order to have success in this field, in this profession, in this effort. Okay. And one of them is to celebrate success. That's one of their most critical things that you've got to do, is celebrate success, which ostensibly has nothing to do with sales, marketing, technical, any of it. Celebrate success is one of they have 7 things, and that's one of them. It's that important that it got listed as one of the highest things on the echelon of things you would have to do. Interestingly, that's been my weakest point. I'll just make a damaging admission to you all now. That's been my weakest point. Why can I tell you all this and tell you that we must acknowledge our wins? Why can I tell you that? Because I can tell you from experience, it's been the hardest thing for me to do. So I'm not admonishing you to do what I'm doing perfectly. I'm admonishing myself. And you get to listen in for your benefit, hopefully for your benefit. John, you need to celebrate some wins. As soon as I heard, was it Allie or Denise? It was Denise, right? She shared a win. As soon as I heard that, I was like, that's the most important stuff we can even talk about here. Right? So I need reminders all the time, especially when the majority of the environment, I'm not talking about this group, but the majority of the environment of online business and media and social media and everything else that's going on in the world, when the majority of it is not acknowledging wins, it's telling you how wrong everything is and why you can do nothing about it. That's why it's so important for us to acknowledge that we're succeeding. Yes, we are. So I'm going to remember that today. And I can tell you what, I had some wins today as well. One of them is just having the opportunity to be here with you all right now, which again, we may take for granted. I may take for granted, but this is no, common thing that we're doing here. I think you guys get this. Some of our new members here, you may just be tuning in right now thinking I didn't know I was signing up for church or whatever. Okay, well, pass the collection basket then. Welcome. Okay, but the idea that you're going to do this alone and this is all technical and very logistical and there's no need for personal development in this or something, well, perish the thought. The late Jim Rohn said, work twice as hard on yourself as you do on your business. That's what I've been doing for however long I've been on this path, which is 30 something years. And yes, it translated into successful businesses as well. I run 4 of them now. But it was all about who's showing up and having a more accurate assessment of who's showing up, not just John who failed yesterday or whatever, but a more accurate assessment. And that's based on actually acknowledging the wins. We talk about being humble, right? What is humility? It's honest self-appraisal. So yes, I've got my shortcomings, but I also have my accomplishments, my abilities, my expertise, and I'm really, really friggin' good at a couple of things, right? Let's capitalize on those things, but they're not real unless we acknowledge them. Celebrate success, my friends. That's my message for you today. In fact, we're talking about developing habits. That's a habit to develop. And I'm saying that to me, okay? You get to listen in, but I'm saying that to me. John, that's a habit for you to develop, is to celebrate success. Thank you guys for being here with us. This has been a tremendous week between Karen and what everyone has shared here. Wow. I love you guys. I got a couple of hands up, so let's go ahead and take some commentary before we wrap up for today. Mark, and then Maggie. Hey, Mark.
Well, first of all, John, I just want to acknowledge that you have created such a wonderful thing here for people to come to. I mean, this is a great forum. So thank you for that. And thank Rachel for that and her team. A suggestion I have for you that I use all the time, as far as going on the theme of celebrating the wins, celebrating the successes, we're all so isolated. We're solo entrepreneurs. So here's a challenge for you and a suggestion. If some of you have a photocopier, or next time you're at a library or Staples or whatever area you have a staple, I suggest you take your hand and you photocopy your hand. And what I suggest you do is you put it up against the wall about shoulder length. And I'm not being facetious. This is serious because it works, because I use it. I put it up about shoulder length, shoulder width, right on my shoulder blade, a nice solid wall. And when I'm by myself and I have a win, I actually get up and I'm like this, and I give my slam, I slap myself on the back on the wall, and I pat myself on the back, and it works. And it feels good. It makes me laugh. So it just makes you get up and, photocopy. It has to be your hand. Photocopy the whole hand right behind you, and just give yourself a nice slap on the back when you do something good and celebrate a win, no matter how small and how big it is. And I use that all the time. Puts a smile on my face, and it reminds me it's the wins that count. And I'm with you, John. It's the wins.
Beautiful. Thank you, brother. So glad you're here. Maggie, the most awesome Maggie, come on out. Where's Maggie? Maggie? Hello.
Maggie,
hold on.
Hey, there she is.
I'm so weird. I haven't been coming every day. I wish I could. I have a 91-year-old mother, and she always seems to have doctor's appointments about this time, and I do like to take her because time together. But so I apologize. But I want to say I have sold like 3 mugs, and I think the last one was I put on some ads. So I'm going to see how that goes for a while. But they were all with my original art. But I need to do the real basic ones too, to just get more volume. But I'm trying. Oh, and I had a question. I have another Etsy store, and I sold a T-shirt last night, and that one's fulfilled by Printful. But if I took it off fulfillment and I just ordered it myself from Gear Bubble, does that work? As an independent order or something?
Does anybody have an answer for that? You can put it in the chat. As far as
Yes,
logistics.
you can do that. You can order it through Gear Bubble. It's cheaper.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. Printful, you don't really make much money. So,
Click
and I don't
new
want to make it
order.
myself.
Click on
What?
new order, otherwise it won't
Yeah.
work right.
Okay, that's great. And I gave myself a break last week, although it doesn't help with the money right now. But I had been doing screen printed flour sack kitchen towels for a long time, and the designs are popular. But I don't have room to do that kind of work anymore, or time. So I gave myself a break, and I took those things off my stores and everything. But I am looking. I did send a couple emails looking for the towels, if anybody was going to provide them and print them. I mean, they go really well. They're popular. So that was another thing. But I'm glad I gave myself the break. I was scrambling to always find the screens and the paint and where am I going to work. So anyway, that's my thought for today.
Awesome. Well, glad you're here, Maggie. You enjoy your day, my friend. You totally deserve it. All right. Let's go to Judith, and then I think we're going to wrap up. Hey, Judith. Judith.
Hi. Okay, one more time. I'm sorry. Thank you again for letting me speak. I've been working really, really hard for a long time, just trying to, I've been trying to get my online business going for over a year, and I've spent a ton of money doing it. And, I was getting very depressed. I was getting very upset. Like John, you and I have kind of talked a little bit about this, but, and it may seem minuscule, but you talk about giving yourself a little kudos for the work that you do and acknowledge, those 2 sales for me yesterday have literally set me on fire. I mean, it's really reminded me that I can do this, and it is for anybody that's willing to believe and put the work in. And coming here every day for you guys, just hearing this over and over, I can't thank everybody enough for the support.
Awesome. So glad you're here, Judith. This is just the beginning, right? You're just getting started. And look at these wins. The hits just keep on coming.
Thank you.
So well done, my friend. Glad you're here. All right. So another awesome week. We're going to get back here again on Monday. And of course, for those of you tuning in on YouTube, because it's the middle of the night for you, or you're at your job right now, or whatever you're doing, we're glad you're here as well. All right. Keep tuning in. I will be meeting with some of you today on business launch sessions. So I'm excited about that. And of course, if you need anything from me, or if you've got any feedback, comments for me and Karen, you can always email us. I think you guys know my email address, johnl@knowledgesource.com.au, or Karen as well, right? Karen A. So Keren A. All right, very good.